The Katyusha, the bombs that flattened cities, the mines that stopped entire panzer divisions. In World War II, Soviet weapons reshaped the battlefield. Today, we explore every major missile used by the Soviet Union in World War II. We start our journey with Soviet missiles and rockets. RS-82 rocket, one of the earliest operational Soviet rockets, originally designed in the 1930s. It was mounted on fighters like the I-16 and later on IL-2 attack aircraft. Though highly inaccurate, its explosive impact was effective against bomber formations and lightly armored ground targets. Pilots often fired rockets in pairs or salvos to increase hit probability. It marked the Soviet Union's first step into rocket-based warfare. RS-132 rocket, a larger and far more destructive evolution of the RS-82, carrying a significantly heavier warhead. It was primarily used against ground targets, such as troop columns, artillery positions, and armored vehicles. Accuracy remained poor, but Soviet doctrine relied on volume of fire rather than precision. When launched in salvos from IL-2 aircraft, even near misses could disable tanks through blast and fragmentation. It became one of the Red Air Force's most feared ground attack weapons. RBS-82 armor-piercing rocket, a modified RS-82 fitted with a shaped charge warhead, designed specifically to penetrate tank armor from above, where armor was thinner. It represented one of the world's earliest air-launched anti-tank rocket concepts. Though penetration was limited against heavy German tanks, it was effective against Panzer III and IV models. This weapon laid the foundation for later anti-tank rocket development. RBS-132 armor-piercing rocket, a heavier anti-tank rocket with improved penetration capability, fired mainly from IL-2 aircraft during close air support missions. While direct hits were rare, successful strikes could disable engines, tracks, or ignite fuel. It forced German armored units to disperse and camouflage more carefully. This rocket demonstrated how aircraft could threaten tanks without bombs. M8 rocket, a light artillery rocket used primarily by Katyusha launchers. Its relatively small warhead limited destruction, but its true strength was mass deployment. Fired in large numbers, it overwhelmed infantry positions and lightly fortified defenses. The noise, smoke, and shock caused severe psychological damage. It was ideal for fast, mobile rocket strikes. M13 rocket, the most iconic Soviet rocket and the backbone of Katyusha units. Its 132mm warhead delivered devastating explosive force across wide areas. Entire enemy battalions could be shattered in seconds by a single salvo. Though inaccurate individually, saturation fire made escape nearly impossible. German troops described Katyusha strikes as steel hurricanes. M20 rocket, a heavier rocket developed to increase blast power against hardened targets. It carried a much larger explosive charge than the M13, used mainly in major offensives where fortifications had to be smashed quickly. Its limited range was offset by sheer destructive capability, particularly effective during city assaults. M30 rocket, a massive rocket designed for bunker and urban destruction. Unlike earlier rockets, it lacked stabilizing fins and relied on short-range launch rails. Its warhead was devastating, capable of collapsing buildings and concrete defenses. Accuracy was poor, but it didn't need to be precise. One hit could erase entire strongpoints. M31 rocket, an improved version of the M30 rocket with better stabilization and extended range. It became a preferred weapon for late-war Soviet offensives, used extensively in Berlin and other urban battles. Its explosions caused shockwaves strong enough to destroy underground positions. Among the most powerful unguided rockets of the war, rocket launchers, or the Katyusha systems. BM-8 Katyusha, a light rocket launcher firing M8 rockets from trucks or light vehicles. It allowed rapid deployment and quick withdrawal before enemy counterfire. Ideal for fast-moving operations and harassment strikes. Though less powerful than later models, it was deadly when used in numbers, often used in early war years. BM-13 Katyusha, the most famous Soviet rocket launcher of World War II, mounted on trucks, tanks, or rail platforms. It could fire dozens of rockets in seconds. Its psychological impact alone often broke enemy morale. After firing, crews immediately relocated to avoid detection. It became a symbol of Soviet firepower. BM-31 Katyusha, a heavy Katyusha system designed to launch M-31 rockets, used primarily for destroying fortifications and urban targets. Its salvos could flatten entire city blocks. Though slower to reload, its firepower was unmatched, commonly used in final offensives against Germany. Soviet large bombs. FAB-50, a light high-explosive bomb used for tactical missions. Effective against infantry, supply columns, and light structures. Often carried in large numbers by ground attack aircraft, its flexibility made it extremely common, ideal for close air support. FAB-100, one of the most widely used Soviet bombs of the war. Balanced explosive power and accuracy, effective against trenches, vehicles, and small buildings, frequently used by IL-2 aircraft in battlefield strikes, reliable and easy to produce. FAB-250, a medium bomb capable of destroying hardened positions in buildings, used during large offensives to soften enemy defenses. Its blast radius caused heavy casualties even without direct hits, common in urban and industrial bombing missions. FAB-500, a heavy bomb delivering massive destruction, used against factories, rail hubs, bridges, and troop concentrations, required larger bombers like the PE-2 and PE-8. One explosion could cripple entire facilities, a symbol of Soviet heavy bombing power. FAB-1000, a one-ton bomb designed for strategic targets. Its blast could level entire city blocks, used sparingly due to logistical difficulty. Highly destructive, but devastatingly effective, reserved for critical objectives. Incendiary and smoke weapons. ZAB-50 incendiary bomb, designed to ignite fires in wooden structures and supply depots, used extensively against cities and logistics hubs, caused long-lasting fires that overwhelmed firefighting efforts, particularly effective in dry conditions. ZAB-100 incendiary bomb, a heavier incendiary with increased burn duration, used to destroy fuel dumps and industrial targets, often combined with high explosive bombs, created widespread destruction beyond initial impact. Demovia smoke bombs, used to create dense smoke screens on the battlefield, concealed troop movements, river crossings, and armored advances, played a tactical role rather than destructive, essential in offensive operations. Landmines. TM-35 anti-tank mine. Early Soviet anti-tank mine using large explosive charges, designed to disable tracks or suspensions, used extensively in defensive belts, simple but effective against early German armor. TM-41 anti-tank mine, an improved version with stronger casing and explosive force, capable of damaging heavier tanks, widely used during the Battle of Kursk, helped stop armored breakthroughs. TM-44 anti-tank mine, a late-war design optimized for mass production, highly reliable and easy to deploy, effective against Panther and Tiger tanks when properly placed, one of the most successful Soviet mines. PMD-6 anti-personnel mine, a wooden mine designed to conserve metal resources, cheap, fast to build, and deadly, extremely difficult to detect, used in massive numbers across the Eastern Front. POMZ-2 stake mine, a fragmentation mine mounted on a wooden stake, triggered by tripwire, highly effective in forests and ruins, caused devastating shrapnel injuries. OZM-3 bounding mine, a jumping mine that detonated at waist height, designed to maximize lethality, one of the most feared Soviet defensive weapons, extremely effective in minefields. The Soviet Union won not through elegance, but through overwhelming explosive force. Rockets, bombs, mines, and mass production defined its battlefield philosophy. Many of these weapons were crude, many were brutal, but together they crushed the Axis war machine. This was industrial warfare, unleashed.